Hi everyone. Today in this video we are going to see how to prepare current affairs for prelims using Sunya's current affairs notes. The Sunya current affairs notes are of two kinds, source-wise segregated and topic-wise segregated. So in the source-wise segregated Sunya notes we have comprehensive coverage of the Hindu, coverage of Vision monthly magazines and PIB and other monthly magazines. So here you can see a sample of the Hindu newspaper covered by Sunya current affairs notes. As you can see, these are crisp and concise points which you need to remember. These can help you tackle questions in the prelims examination. Here you can see the Vision monthly magazines being summarized by the Sunya notes. So there is no repetition in the topics which have already been covered in the Hindu segment of Sunya notes. And finally, there's also PIB and other monthly section where any topics which have already been covered by the Hindu or Vision are not repeated. So, in the topic-wise segregated Sunya notes, the sections which are covered are environment, schemes, international relations, science and technology, polity and governance, economy, defense, health, indices and reports, art and culture, and miscellaneous. So this is a sample of the environment section of the topic-wise segregated Sunya notes. Now we'll go to how to read these notes. So in the first reading, since the Sunya notes are very data and information dense, what we should do is we should set a timer for 10 minutes and target finishing half a page, let's say. We just need to read through and understand what is written just to familiarize ourselves so that we develop a comfort level and we understand what is written. In this stage, please don't try to remember the stuff. Once you're done with the first reading, go to the second reading and memorize the important data or facts. Just in case if you feel that a certain topic has not been covered comprehensively by Sunya, go to Wikipedia or Google to fill in the blanks and make a note of it right then and there in your notes. So quickly make a note of any extra facts or data points which you might have gathered from Wikipedia or Google. In the third reading, you should revise the same at the end of the day on which you did the first and second readings. So let's say in the morning you got up and you read through the Sunya notes for the first time and the second time. Then on the same day at night, just go through once and revise whatever you had read in the morning. Try to recall the facts or mnemonics that you've made. So ideally, in the second reading, when you try to remember the data, you should make mnemonics or shortcuts and see how you are going to remember the facts and revise that at the end of the day. So finally, revision strategy. So once you are revising on the same day on which you read the material for the first and second times, then you revise at the end of the week, and finally you revise at the end of the month. So by this way, the knowledge base keeps getting built. And before prelims, you should revise all the notes in the last 10 days before prelims. Mostly economy, science and technology, geography, the mapping portion, and polity related bills and acts, and even environmental species, national parks, geography mapping, everything is mostly current affairs oriented these days in the prelims examination. So if you revise all the notes in the last 10 days, you will maximize your recall and increase your accuracy. So how to approach each current affairs item? So your UPSC previous year question paper is the Bible. It is the starting point. You must analyze the paper by mapping the sources from which you are covering a particular topic with the kind of questions asked. So this goes for static as well as current affairs. So here you will be mapping the sources with current affairs questions asked. This will increase confidence in your sources. You will understand the type of questions UPSC asks, and it orients your current affairs preparation towards the UPSC pattern. So let's say if you pick up 2020 UPSC prelims papers, just see if the Sunya notes of 2020 had the questions of current affairs which were asked in UPSC 2020 prelims examination. So now we'll give an example of how you should be covering the Sunya notes under each topic. So in environment, let's say if there are national parks which are mentioned in news. So what you should do is, in case Sunya has given you certain pointers which are not complete, let's say Sunya has just mentioned the location of the national park and you feel that the national park is important, what you should do is you should immediately go to Wikipedia and read the first two paragraphs of that national park, right? So, based on your analysis of the UPSC prelims question paper of previous years, you can understand the kind of questions that UPSC has been asking, what exactly are the things that UPSC focuses on. So, I have mentioned some examples in this slide. Like national parks, you have the ones which are in news. UPSC might ask some mapping related questions, the flagship species, or any unique fact, let's say the climate or topography. For example, the Loktak Lake was asked sometime back in prelims examination. It is known for a particular species, so you must know that. Then for species, UPSC might ask the IUCN status, the Sites or Wildlife Protection Act status, the distribution of the species, unique traits, or whatever the ones are in news, you must know those. Also, for environment, you must understand the concepts and phenomena which are in news. So, coral bleaching has been in news for some time. So, you might just want to go and read it from the static books or the internet. For environmental organizations, if these are government organizations, they might ask you the ministry or the department with which it is associated, the objectives, the composition of the organization. So, things like that, you must concentrate on these. And international conventions and organizations are another favorite area of UPSC. So let's go to the government schemes next. So you should focus on the abbreviated names and also learn the full forms of these names, the ministry, department, and the tagline of the scheme. So once you see that a government scheme has been mentioned in the Sunya current affairs notes, you should either Google it or do it then and there from any compilation. Either go to the website of the scheme and do the features, the ministry, the composition, the benefits, who are the beneficiaries, all of this, or refer to any compilation of any coaching institute which has covered the scheme in detail. You should understand the benefits being given, even memorize the criteria, because these days UPSC has been mixing up the numbers and the facts and they try to catch you there. Please take government schemes as a standalone subject because it is being asked quite in detail by UPSC in recent years. International relations and organizations again is a favorite area, and you must also take this as a standalone subject. It's a current affairs oriented topic, uh, but it needs to be clubbed with the static part. You can refer to any compilation whenever you come across any international organization or any international grouping. Let's say, for example, if you are reading about WTO or you are reading about SCO, just go then and there and learn the names of the countries which are already a member of the organization. Make a mnemonic or an abbreviated name, or try to remember the headquarter, the tagline, the recent schemes, or the recent themes of the summits. So that should be done then and there. You should also fill in the blanks using Wikipedia. Just read the first two paragraphs or the website of the organization or the convention. Other things which have to be kept in mind are that you need to memorize the headquarters, the organizations affiliated to the United Nations, names of declarations, any protocols, backgrounds of agreements, and for example, there are some other things which you need to see, like difference between G7, G8, G20, what exactly is APEC, Asian Regional Forum, what are the differences, whether India is a part of these or not. So these are some things which you should try to see. Coming to geography and mapping, for concepts, you should try to understand them by using Wikipedia or Google them, or maybe you can go to YouTube to watch some videos on geography. PMFIAS is a good resource. You can refer to that for geographical concepts. For mapping, if there is any place or natural feature which is in news, it should be looked up in the map then and there. When you start doing this, you will see that you are repeating a lot of stuff in the mapping portion, which will increase your retention and accuracy, and it will build recall. If it is an important river, you should memorize its source, mouth, and tributaries. Or refer to any compilation or go to Google and just make a note of it in your notes. If it is a place, just go and Google its location on the map, which coast is there, or is there any other important feature, what is its relative positioning with respect to other places, and things like that. Mapping is mostly current affairs based, but there are a few static questions also, so you must refer to a book for mapping. Any book which you like could be referred to. For science and technology, the focus is on application of technologies which are in news. So UPSC is trying to judge your curiosity and see if you are an aware citizen. So you should understand it from Wikipedia or Google, or maybe watch some YouTube videos and try to memorize facts also, because in recent years the ranges of weapons or the weights of satellites have also been asked. So you might want to focus on these as well. It is a favorite area of UPSC and is mostly current affairs oriented. For polity, you should connect the current affairs with the static part. You must give special emphasis on the topics which are in news. So let's say defection was in news a lot in recent years. So you must do the 10th schedule properly and see which are the provisions in the constitution which have been catering to defection, and are there any recent amendments, any recent cases which are in news, what has been happening on that front. So you should be able to connect the current affairs with the static portion. For any bills and acts, you can go to PRS Legislative and read the one page of bill or act summary to get the gist of it. Because UPSC asks questions on the details of the acts or the bills, and it is good if you know the exact criteria which is given in a particular bill, so that you can attempt the questions confidently. Details of bills and acts are asked frequently, so you need to memorize the facts and the numbers. In government organizations, you need to look at what are the provisions of the constitution, the ministry and department with which it is associated, whether it's statutory, constitutional, or executive body, which act or article it caters to. Finally, what are the objectives, where are the headquarters, and any other thing like its composition or something. So government organizations must be prepared holistically. In economy, most questions are current affairs based. You can refer to Investopedia to understand any concepts that you might not. Uh, you should try and remember the data. These days, UPSC has been asking trends of particular data points, whether the current account deficit has been increasing or decreasing, or the imports have been increasing or decreasing. So if you read the newspaper, you'll be aware of most of the trends. And whenever you're reading the newspaper or the Sunya notes, just try to remember the trends. Just have a big picture of the trends which are in place. Finally, defense exercises, details of weapons and conventions and agreements are some areas where UPSC asks questions in defense related topics. So in defense exercises, UPSC might ask the countries which are involved in those defense exercises. Details of weapons are also asked in UPSC. Uh, let's say the range might be asked, the manufacturer, country can be asked, or the name of the weapon might be asked. And conventions and agreements, which are defense related, are another important area. Health is a favorite area of UPSC. You must know disease names, any particular or peculiar symptoms, whether it's caused by a virus, protozoa, bacteria, the type of diseases, the specific drugs being discovered or used to treat these diseases, the application of technology, for example, uh, let's say the genetic modification technology or the nanotechnology which is being used to cure these diseases, and any other health related concepts. For indices and reports, India's rank in a particular index should be prepared. Trends in India's rank, for example, the ease of doing business index had some focus in recent years on India's improvement in rankings. So that could be done. Organizations which release the report or index, the theme, last year's theme, which country has the topmost rank, what is the nature of the report, whether it's annual, biennial, monthly, quarterly, and the parameters which are being used. Some portion of art and culture is current affairs based. Questions related to the contemporary topics are asked. So you can refer to Wikipedia and see images or Google to increase the recall. Thank you. This is all from my side and hope you find this short video informative, and all the best for your upcoming prelims examination.